Hi everyone. So today we're going to do an activity that's called a water blooming flower. So your materials you're going to need is a shallow plate with water, your flower templates, which you should have received maybe 2 or 3 different templates with 2 on each, some scissors and some watercolor markers, and if you have a permanent marker as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to color in our flower. So I'm just going to quickly use a pink marker, and I'm actually just going to kind of scribble outside the lines because we're going to be cutting this out anyway. So I'm going to color this in really quick. So you can do designs if you would like. You don't need to do them solid. I'm just going to do mine solid for time. Here, just do it really quick. Okay, so you're going to color in your flower or flowers. You can try and bloom one flower or multiple. It's completely up to you. So I already have some that are colored in and cut out and designed. So what you're going to do is you color it in, and then you'll cut out the whole circle, or I'm sorry, the whole flower. And I already have 2 that are done. Okay, so I cut these 2 out. And then on the back side with, you can use a pen or a permanent marker. So if you have watercolor markers for the front, if not, you can use permanent. And I just drew some designs on the back. I don't know, I'm just gonna draw a couple little lines here on the back side for the inside of your flower. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is fold the petals along the dashed line, so facing inward. So you have dark solid black lines on the outside that you're going to cut along, and then the dashed lines, we're going to actually fold all of those, this way, in. You can actually do them either way. You might do one way and one the other way. Because once it blooms, the color is going to be on the bottom side. So we'll see what happens here. So there's one. And the other one, I'm actually going to fold in the opposite direction. I'm going to fold it so that the colors are in the inside, and when it blooms, you'll see on the outside. So what we're going to be doing is placing this in a shallow dish of water when we're done. And paper is made from dried wood pulp, so think of it just like, I think I used this example in one of the other videos of when you put a dry sponge in water or a towel in water. It's dry and then it soaks it up. And the same thing with the paper. The paper is dried wood pulp right now, and once it starts to absorb that water, it starts to expand, and that's what makes it open. If you remember much earlier in the year, I think we made a toothpick star like that, and it was the same thing. Once the toothpick absorbs the water, it allows the fibers to expand and open up. Okay, so again, you can use as many flowers as you want. If you have a smaller one, you can actually nest one inside the other. So we're going to put it in some water here, and it doesn't take long. Oh, that one's going real quick for it to magically start to happen. So if you have watercolors, if you let them sit in there long enough, the watercolors will actually start to bleed out, and I can actually see my water is a little bit pink. I'm not really sure how well you can see it in the camera, but that happened pretty quick. So use as many as you would like, different colors, fold some in, fold some out. You can still see the red because the water is going to start to soak up through the paper. You can see here that the paper is starting to really get saturated with water there. But the nice part, you can do the designs in the middle and they won't run out or bleed because they're not watercolor. So they're permanent, so they're not, they don't dissolve in water. They won't get carried away, I guess you could say, in the water. So this water blooming activity is very popular. Let's say flowers are very popular in a lot of different aspects of the art world. they're beautiful in nature, and a lot of times artists use flowers as their inspiration for their artwork. So there's a couple very famous paintings. Vincent van Gogh is a very famous artist. He has a sunflower painting. And then another artist, Georgia O'Keeffe, she also made a watercolor painting of orchids that is also very popular as well. So if you like art and you're into painting or drawing, you know, this is an activity where a lot of people use flowers as their inspiration. So being that we're using the watercolor, you can actually see the color start to bleed on the outside or run out into the water. The purple I don't see yet, but the pink, probably because the pink is actually on the underside, and this one I flipped on the top. A lot of different people have an interest in art and restoring art. So a lot of times paintings can be very old, and depending where they're stored, they can start to get damaged or rot or deteriorate. And there are a lot of people who like to restore those paintings. So they have to know a lot about how chemicals react with air and moisture, depending on where they're kept over the years. And a lot of people like to try and bring them back to life. So they need to know how the different mediums in art. So you can have paintings that have oil, paintings that have pastels or chalk or pencil drawings. So they need to know how all those things can react with different elements over time and how they can repair them without damaging them any further. So there's a lot of people who like to do that. People like to fix things. I'm gonna pick this one up and well, that didn't work out. Now it's kind of like a tie-dye. I was just curious. So the orange on the underside is starting to come out too. So enjoy this activity. Try lots of different flowers. If you run out of templates, you can always just draw your own flowers on paper, but you definitely want to use a lightweight paper because it absorbs the water quickly. And you could bloom lots of flowers, which is just in time for spring. So have fun with this one.